Hi, everyone. I am Connie Myers, the founder and the CEO of Crisis Knowledge Management and Preparedness Foundation. Today, I want to talk about something that's the biggest asset to our entire planet, and that is our kids. Our kids are in trouble right now because of what's happening. So I have put together an initiative called Kits4Kids, and I'm going to be asking you to help me fund this initiative at the end of this. I started the journey to sustainability through the power of preparedness because it's really important for us to reach sustainability. But in the meantime, until we are there, we have to know how to be prepared, how to mitigate, and make our lives better for us and our children's futures. I have said many times that disasters and crises teach us humanity. Give us time to pause and reflect and to change our course. That's what we're talking about here. I was a FEMA inspector for over 7 years, and I trained thousands of inspectors. The first disaster I did was the Northridge earthquake, and I can tell you I have seen what happens after disaster. I became physically addicted to the job. I would come home from a disaster and I'd turn on the TV to see where I was going to go next. To give you an idea of how much that's increased, now as a FEMA inspector, I could say, do I want to go to Maui? Do I want to go to Florida? How about Kentucky? How about New England? Or how about that tropical storm in Las Vegas? I could pick and choose the disasters that I want to go to. That's how much they've increased. NOAA keeps track of billion-dollar disasters or greater, and in 2021, the cost of billion-dollar disasters or greater to the taxpayers was $142 billion. In 2022, it was $172.6 billion. Maui alone this year is $20 billion or more. So what can we do to reduce the costs, to mitigate, and make it a safer place for us and our kids? FEMA has a saying. They call it preparedness procrastination. People don't want to think about it. They'll put it off until tomorrow to think about what they need to be prepared. It's kind of like a will. You don't want to write a will because you have to think about dying. Well, 61% of Americans back in January of 2020 realized that they were going to be affected or believed they were going to be affected by a disaster within the next 3 to 5 years. Little did they know. Preparedness, did this couple really believe that they needed to prepare for disasters in Lahaina? No. But what they did saved their home, unlike the others around them. When there were ambers and pieces of wood flying because of the wind and they hit the roof, they slid off the roof. When they landed on the ground, they had put down 30 feet of river rock and it landed on river rock rather than grass. So look at this picture really carefully and picture it. It could be flooding, it could be earthquake, it could be all kinds of things besides fire. But having a preparedness plan is critically important for you and your family. Also, they're also saying now that the amount of ash and things that remains in the air in some areas where there's lots of fires is actually setting back the advances in air quality by 25 years. So what can you do and what can your community do to be better prepared? And let's not forget, protect our kids. In the last 5 years, we have seen a very significant increase in the number of disasters, the intensity, and the cost. FEMA, as of 2022 December, had 90 declared disasters. In 2023, as of October 10th, there's been 107. As far as billion-dollar incidents, 2022 there were 18, and already this year we've had 24. So that is significant. Plus, there's other things that we're looking at right now that are even more significant. So reinsurers are insurance companies. And they take into account everything that's happening around the globe, not just what's happening in the United States. And they're now saying that 1 in 25 homes may become insurable. Just think about that across the country. In 2023, they're saying that 1 out of 10 homes are at risk of being damaged or destroyed by disasters. 1 out of 10. If you have 10 houses on your street, 1 of those is at risk. What's very interesting is flooding has gone through the roof. 99% of all counties now experience some kind of flooding, and 10% of homes are at risk of flooding. The National Flood Insurance Program came out with 2.0. There's no update, which makes more homes at risk, and they changed how they look at flood insurance. So you might want to check that out for your home. Fires. Okay, so fires in 2021, it was the worst year, 10 million acres. And 2022, it was down to 7.5. Now, because of all of the rain and all the flooding and everything that happened in the atmospheric rivers in the United States this year, we may hopefully see that number down a little bit more. But one big significant number is the drought was the worst it was in 1,200 years and basically covered the entire planet. And did you know that heat causes more deaths and more damage than all the other disasters combined? And look, there's still parts of the country in October, and we're still experiencing it. In 2023, there's been 14 atmospheric rivers. Now, those are sideways rivers. And a average atmospheric river will dump as much water as what flows from the Mississippi into the Gulf. If they're large, it could be 15 times the amount of water. And there's been 14 so far this year, just 2 of them last month. Tornadoes are on the rise. In 2022, there was 1,329 declared tornadoes rather. As of July, they had reported 1,238, and they had confirmed 1,028. Look at that. We're almost to that number, and it was only July. Power outages. This is a man-made disaster. It's doubled and lasts 8 hours longer rather. And then just take a look at mass shootings. In 2022, there were 647 incidents and 51 school shootings. As of September 17th, there were 506 incidents. And as of October 8th, there were 58 school shootings. So you can see there's been a significant increase with those as well. The word sustainability is used in a lot of different ways. Today, we're going to be talking about the overall seeing sustainability because it affects everything else, your lifestyle, your work, all of the above. So we're using the definition of sustainability of meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has reported that it's still possible to hold global warming to relatively safe levels, but to do so is going to require lots of global cooperation, billions of dollars, and big changes. The United Nations, Antonio Guterres, Secretary General, says the 1.5 degree limit is achievable, but it will take a quantum leap in climate action. And what they're saying is we might actually pass the 1.5 threshold that they're trying to hold it to by the mid-2030s. So we're going to have to find a way of bringing it back. There are 2 steps that are going to have to take place if this is going to happen. The first one is we need to slash the greenhouse gases in half by 2030. We have to also stop adding carbon dioxide completely by the early 2050s. So that is going to take a significant effort on everybody's part to be able to make that happen. What they've discovered is that even at the levels of increase we've just seen in the last 2-3 years, the damage and the risk factors have grown much more exponentially. So it's much worse sooner than they thought it was going to be. There's never been a more important time than now for us to really take a look at what we need to do. In order to stop those carbon dioxides completely by the 2050s, we're going to have to cancel or retire early existing fossil fuel infrastructure, things like coal-fired power plants, oil wells. Factories, car and trucks across the globe are already producing enough carbon dioxide to warm the planet roughly to 2 point centigrade this century. Now, there are a lot of companies out there doing a lot of really things, and we have young people that are jumping into the stock market. They're taking a look and saying, okay, is this company being sustainable in their efforts? Apple Watch just came out with a new watch that is 100% net carbon zero. We all know how powerful a youth's voice is. Just think about Christmas or when they want something. They can rise up and make a difference. And that is exactly what's happening when it comes to emissions. Young people all around the country are rising up and saying, what is our future going to look like? And this was a case just a couple months ago in Montana. Please listen.
A win for climate justice and for Montana's youth. In a landmark trial, the state fought hard to suppress but couldn't.
You know, it's really scary seeing what you care for disappear right in front of your eyes.
The 16 youth argued Montana had shirked its constitutional obligation to protect and maintain a clean and healthful environment for them and future generations. by refusing to assess the impact of greenhouse gas emissions. The judge agreed, saying youth are disproportionately harmed by fossil fuel pollution. Aged 5 to 22 years old, they won the first youth-led climate trial in the U.S.
This case has given me hope, knowing that we're able to actually go testify.
Our Children's Trust, their legal backer, called the decision a sweeping win, a game changer in this generation's efforts to save the planet.
What the case means is that the Montana government can no longer stick its head in the sand and ignore the climate impacts of the decisions it makes in regards to fossil fuel extraction.
It's not clear how the ruling will impact government's legal obligations or how its message could spread beyond Montana's borders.
This case will undoubtedly continue to inspire young people and climate activists all across Canada.
Montana will likely appeal. The challengers say they're ready.
I hope that as a young person, we might actually have a chance to make a difference, and for my life and for my kids' life, not all hope may be lost.
Susan, what's your sense of it? Can we expect more cases like this to go to trial?
Yes, climate cases have doubled over the last 5 years. With politics so unpredictable, elections come and go, people are trying to take these cases to court to get legal precedents, which may be more difficult to overturn.
Of all the ones out there, any in particular to keep an eye on?
Yes, curiously, Hawaii. Youth there are taking Hawaii's Department of Transportation to court for violating their constitutional rights with all these emissions. And that case is going to trial next June.
All right, we'll be watching. Susan, thank you.
You're welcome.
My first book was called Crystalline Moments. Crystalline means sparkly or clear, so moments of clarity. And what we are experiencing right now is exactly that, a very major crystalline moment. And those gifts and opportunities are at our feet. Our mission when I founded CKM was to provide education, services, as well as programs that we can help individuals, businesses, and communities become more sustainable and better prepared. Our vision is to create leaders throughout those communities to help inspire citizens and to show them what they need to do to be better prepared, and also how to take action to make a difference. Our goal is to help 30 million people be more sustainable. And we're going to be doing that through our first initiative called Kits4Kids. We have 3 avenues that are available to us to do this. This is my 6th best-selling book. It was made it to #1 on sustainability as well as preparedness and real estate. It's brandable and it's a reference guide that gives you all the information you need to have for your business as well as for your home in being prepared and more sustainable. I've also created a certification course and other trainings that include everything on different types of disasters and risk factors, insurance, as well as communication, mindset, and leadership. Those are all available for a training in the communities. And as I mentioned, our Kits4Kids is our first initiative. We started in July. It is being so well received. Everybody wants to protect their kids. And after we get the Kits4Kids off the ground, we're also going to do them for pets and seniors and people with disabilities and other groups of individuals. Our goal is to help others do well by doing good, by creating these community events and by creating these community leadership. We are going to make a difference and help people's businesses all at the same time. Considering that 50% of the consumers out there today are young people, that means there's lots of pressure being put on businesses to truly change their business model and take a look at how they can become net zero. That's actually creating new innovation and new ideas, which is a wonderful thing. This is the results of a study that were done in 2017 on communications for the corporate social responsibility. 92% of companies, when they support social or environmental issues, consumers have a more positive image of that company. 89% of consumers are more likely to switch brands. They'll even pay a little bit extra. 88% of consumers are more loyal to a company when they support a social cause. 87% of consumers will look at a company or a service before they purchase to decide whether or not that's who they want to do business with. 86% of consumers expect companies to do more than make just a profit. They expect companies to also address social and environmental issues. And 70% of consumers believe companies are obligated to take action toward improving issues that may not even be related to what they do for their business. As you can see, all of these numbers, and this was 2017, I can tell you those numbers are probably larger today than they were then, but it just shows you how important, especially young people, are taking this. I have never been more excited about anything in my life. I tell you what, we announced the Kits4Kids Initiative in July. Parents, teachers, grandparents, just business owners are all just loving this idea. It's a small emergency kit that gets velcroed into the bottom of the kid's backpack. It has a whistle, it has a light, it has a tracker. The parents can track where the child is as well as record a message to the child. It has stop the bleed bandages. It has a sanitizer bottle. It has an emergency phone numbers, including the poison hotline as for drug, alcohol, as well as other kinds of problems, and as well as the suicide hotline. And why are we so concerned about this? Because 76% of parents are worried about their child's anxiety or depression. And also, they're worrying about bullying, kidnapping, abduction, drugs and alcohol, shootings. Those are all huge concerns. And when the parents are concerned, what happens to the children? They have fear. The fear grows. And now suicide has doubled and PTSD is up 50%. A good part of that is because of the desocialization during COVID. However, social media, which are now saying kids should be 14 years old before they get on social media, is causing all kinds of self-identity issues and bullying and abuse. Then you have the shootings and the disasters and just the general parent pressure for kids. So what we want to do with our Kits4Kids is help protect our kids and give the parents a little bit of peace of mind and maybe reduce the kids' fear a little bit. So these kits go in the bottom of the backpack, so the backpack goes wherever the kids go, whether it's school, the playground, etc. Then, as we're teaching the kids about what goes into the Go Kits and how to use them, we're also educating the parents. And we're telling them what they need to have for the kids' emergency kit at home. When something happens, the little kit comes out of the everyday backpack and goes into the emergency kit, and they've got about 40% of what needs to actually go into that kit. We also are starting a brand new kids spokesperson campaign. We're calling it the Youth Voices Amplified Kits4Kids spokesperson. So what we want to do is we want to have kids provide us locally on the local community level what they would do, why they would want to be the kids spokesperson. Then we're going to pick a boy and a girl from each community. We'll have the kids pick from them the state level, the national level. We're going to create these armies of kids that are saying, hey, mom and dad, when are we going to do our fire drill? Or, hey, mom and dad, how do I get out of the house if there's a house fire? Or, hey, mom and dad, what about this or what about that? And that is going to create action among the parents. Will you join us? Do you want to do well by doing good and help us in your community make a difference? Help us get the Kits4Kids off the ground. Help us with our Army of Kids spokesperson campaign. We're looking for all kinds of individuals, but particularly we are looking for people just like you. So I hope you'll say yes. If you're a business owner, if you're a professional, if you're a financial planner, if you're part of the government or civic organizations, Boys and Girls Clubs, the Rotary, any of those organizations, we want to talk with you and we want to create a program in your community that will put out these Kits4Kids and the other kits as well, and also help us to put together this army of kids that are going to be the spokespeople and really be the driving force behind everything we're doing. John F. Kennedy says, when written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. I can't think of anything that is more worthwhile than protecting our kids, giving parents and adults peace of mind that they're going to be safe, and helping our planet become more sustainable and being prepared so that we don't have to face some of the things that people have faced over the last few years. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this. I truly believe that we're going to help 30 million people, and I really hope that you will decide to be a part of this because you can save lives, property, and money. My personal belief is that if we can save one child's life, or make it a little easier for one parent to let their kid go to school, or help a community that might be facing some kind of risk factors that'll create disasters, if we can just help a couple people out there, it'll be worth it. But I want to help 30 million. So I need lots of help to make that happen. The first QR code here, you can download a free copy of the When the Unthinkable Happens, Be Prepared, Be Ready. And the second has all kinds of information in it about donating, as well as information about me and the Kits for Kids and all the other programs we have. Our goal for 2024 is to raise $500,000 in donations. And we need that through sales, sponsorships, events, collaboration with other nonprofits, grants, all of that. I'm donating all my speaking efforts to the nonprofit. So I'm really hoping if you need somebody to come and speak about these things, please ask me. I would love to do it. Join us in this effort. Along with this video, you also received a form that has all the information on it. We look forward to talking with you about how you might be able to collaborate with us. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to working with you with CKM Preparedness.